Hi, I'm Courtney Addison. I'm your child's special education teacher. I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about your child's individualized education program, and we often refer to that as your child's IEP. And what that is just a basic document for us individuals, teachers at the school, to kind of have a guideline for where we want your child to progress throughout this school year. We review this document every year and address our educational goals that we have and any concerns that you may have as a parent. I want you to remember that you can always, if you have any questions, feel free to call me at the school. I've given you my email address, so feel free to do that as well. But if you have any questions, that's what I'm here for. Feel free to ask me. I'd be more than happy to help you. What we're going to do is we're going to go through a few of the pages here and just kind of give you a bit of an idea of what your child's IEP might look like. So if you have any questions, once again, just feel free to give me a call or drop me an email. The first page on your child's IEP is just basic demographic information. Has obviously your child's name, the time and place that we held the meeting, how old they are, just different things like that. The other part that's on here is the people that were at that meeting. This would include yourself, myself, maybe the special education director, any evaluators that we might have had there, or any other people that you may want to bring to the meeting. So there we just list those individuals and have them sign to verify that they were at the meeting. So it's a pretty simple first page. The second page is what we call the present level of academic achievement and functional performance. And what that actually is we are just talking and discussing about your child's strengths, what they're really, really good at, what they really like to do, what we see at the school that they're really good at and really like participating in. And also gives your input too, so you can add to those list of strengths for your child. The other thing that we list on this page is your child's weaknesses. And from these weaknesses, what we want to do is build this IEP, build this educational profile for your child, so that way we know where to go with your child's educational goals for this year. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about weaknesses. It's only to benefit your child, their developmental growth and educational growth. On the other part of this page is we want to let you have your input already about what your child is like. You are our best reference for your child's needs and who your child is. And we value your opinion, we value your thoughts. Anything that you can give us to help your child succeed in school is going to be greatly appreciated. And so we like to put some of that information that you give us on here as well. On this third page that we're going to talk about here is what we call the consideration of special factors. This is just some simple basic yes/no questions, and we try and document those so that way we can tell what we need to do special or different for your child. Such things as, is there limited English proficiency? Are there special communication needs? Does your student require Braille? Are there assistive technology devices that your student needs to use? And the other important part is whether or not your student or my student, your child's behavior would impede his learning or affect the learning of others. And that's important to address because we want to make sure that we're providing the best possible environment and the best possible supports for your child while he or she is here with us at school. So that way we can address those educational goals and we can build and grow as an individual and as a group working together. The last part on this page is just the assessment part, and that's whether your child's going to be taking the regular assessments with or without accommodations, and whether or not they'll be taking an alternate assessment. And we can talk about that at a later time because that is a little bit different if they are taking the alternate assessment. And if they're just taking the regular assessments with other individuals or other peers their age, just different accommodations that we might need to give them or provide for them during their testing experiences. the page 4A and 4B really pertains, it's called the measurable post-secondary goals, and 4B is called the transition services. And what those are is really, when we're talking about middle school on up, we're looking at how we need to transition the services that your child is receiving at school and whether or not they'll need to receive those services in their adult lives. We don't address this in the elementary years because it's not necessary. Once again, it's just how they're going to transition from what we're doing here at school to fully participate in their lives, in their adult lives after school. So we're not really going to discuss those. Those are more discussed, like I said, the end of middle school years is where I like to start them, and throughout high school they're a pretty big focus for students that are on these individualized education programs. So that's page 4A and 4B. On page 5 and 5A or 5B, it depends on how many goals we have set for your kid or for your child. What these pages are, they're called educational goals and objectives or benchmarks. And what these are developed from is from those weaknesses on that we had developed on your child's present level of academic achievement. It's those weaknesses that we had talked about and where we want to help your child with those weaknesses. What kind of goals do we need to set for your child academically? Do they need help in the reading, math, science? This is where we're going to address those goals. We're going to address them by what we're going to do for them. And that's where the short-term objectives come in. We're going to have little mini milestones for your child to hit throughout our instructional procedures. We want to really focus on developing that particular skill for your child to meet that annual goal at the very end. We want to meet that measurable annual goal is what we call it. And that's just really the basic #1 goal that we have, and we have little mini bench steps to help us meet that goal throughout the year. And this page addresses any accommodations or modifications that they might need, whether they need longer testing times or they need a calculator to help them with their math. They could be stuff as simple as that. And that it also talks about how we're going to get that reporting to you. And usually, well, how we do it here is through our parent conferences and through report cards. And if you have any other information or you need any more information about your student, like I said, you can always call me and I can get that information for you right away. The next page is page 6. It's called Related Services to be Provided. This is just basically if your child needs any other services like physical therapy or occupational therapy, if they need counseling or psychological services. Some might need audiological services. They might need help with their hearing, or they might need help with their speech services. Or they might need to see the school nurse. They might need to have medication needs that the nurse needs to administer. We document all of those on this page, page 6, the related services, just so that it's in writing and everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing. So that's a pretty simple page. Our next page is the page 7, and that's state and district assessment accommodations. And that's where I said earlier, it's whether or not your student's going to be taking place in the regular assessment or the assessment with accommodations. We need to address what these accommodations are, and we need to have them in writing, or otherwise your child is not able to use those accommodations or modifications. And it also talks about that alternate assessment that we have. But once again, if your child has that alternate assessment and needs to have that done for them, we're going to talk about that further in a different module, so that way it gives you a little bit more information in this little blip right here. The page 8 is what we call the least restrictive environment. Basically, that is where your child's going to receive these services. We strive to have our kids or our children or our students in with their same aged peers and with kids that are their own age. We do that because they grow and they develop and they socialize better that way. And on this page, we need to define and document where is that least restrictive environment. So whether that's in the general classroom or that's in a resource room so they can get that special help that they need. This is just basically where we're going to document that. It's nothing else other than that. It just lets us know where your child needs to go for these services. And we also, at the very bottom of that, we need to justify why we're doing that. And usually it's just because it's for the betterment of your child, and so your child can get the services that they need while they're here with us at the school. And the last page of this IEP is the extended school year. It's whether your child or not needs services throughout the summer, and those different goals are also addressed on this page as well. This is where we have your consent, your signature, that we've gone over this information and we've developed this plan or this IEP with you. So it can be a very confusing document at first, but it shouldn't be intimidating. Don't let it intimidate you. It's just to help us at the school develop the educational program for your student, for your child, so we can help them develop themselves and grow as an individual. And once again, if you have any other questions, feel free to give me a call at the school, drop me an email. I'm here to help, and any information you can give me, I would be much appreciative too. It's going to help me prepare myself to teach your child better and to the means that your child needs. And thank you so much. Talk to you soon.